Hey, good evening, everybody. Welcome back to our Chavruta sessions live from Jerusalem with Rabbi Chaim Goldberg of the Noahide World Center. I see the rabbis just arrived in the room, so let's just jump right in and say hello. Shalom, Rabbi. I'm going to pin you onto the large screen, and we'll turn the class over to you, Rabbi. Oh, we've got Stephen with us, is new today. He's in the UK. Somebody from the Noahide World Center sent me his email the other day, so I gave him the link. And your microphone's muted at the moment, Rabbi. So, we'll... I can hear you just fine, Rabbi.
Hi, everybody. Good evening. Good to see you all. Stephen, you're from the UK? From where in the UK?
So near Cambridge.
In Cambridge. Nice to see you. Nice to meet you.
Thank you.
You're a long time as an Noahide, or you're just a beginner?
Just beginning. You're just beginning.
Okay. And your family, how is your family catching this?
Yeah, but I have 3 boys. Yeah, so the family are well. Thank you.
Excellent. Good to hear. So first of all, welcome. Good to see you, and good to see everybody else. Martina, Angelica, I got you here, all your notes and everything else. But good to see you also. But don't fight with your wife about coming to this class, okay? Vincent, Collins also from the United States, from the UK. You know Collins Collins and his wife.
We are in Nottingham. That's about 2.5 hours from Cambridgeshire, hopefully.
Fair enough. I'm not really sure that in the UK today it's England. I think that it's more Muslims, no?
Yeah, maybe.
It's a challenge.
Don't be so shy. I think that also in Belgium, in Dart, it's more Muslim than Christian today, right?
Yeah.
In all Europe, you have a problem. Fair enough. Let's jump straight ahead inside. So in this class, mainly we are learning from the Bible, all sorts of ideas from the Bible, and how it's related also to us. Is there any question you want to raise up, or Stephen or others? If someone wants to raise up a question, we'll start with questions. If not, it's okay. Is there anything inside you driving you that you want to ask? Everything is good with everybody. Excellent. I have a few questions, but never mind that. Usually we have. Fair enough. Okay, so we are going now. We started yesterday with the second half of the book of Exodus. Now, the book of Exodus, that let's be clear. The book of Exodus is basically the continuous of Genesis. Our sages, it's interesting. I think I'm giving you something that I can't prove, okay? But this is mainly the main idea, okay? Until the more or less the year 1000, okay? So we're speaking about almost 1000 and 1000 years ago. This book was called secondary book. It wasn't called Exodus. I think the name Exodus came after, in Hebrew, we're not calling it Exodus, okay? When the Christians started to call this book Exodus, we started to call this book, instead of secondary, we started to call this book names. The name of this book in Hebrew is names, Shmot. Okay, and what is the difference between Exodus and names? So we need to understand that. Exodus is more describing an event that happened, but this event doesn't have any soul in behind of it. Doesn't have any person or anything that is unique for someone. It's an event that happened in this world. The Hebrew nation went out from Egypt. What happened there? Why did they went out? Is there anything more profound that is related with the people or with a human being there? Nothing is being said. Okay, Exodus, the Hebrew nation went out from Egypt. We're speaking about something else. We're saying that the second book is being called names because if you want to demolish the beginning, I will say, of controlling others, is taking their names, because the name of the person is bringing the uniqueness of him, of comparing to others. And it's also, today the psychologist is also explaining this in a very profound way, that this is the first thing that you're starting to realize with yourself, that they are calling your name. And your name is so profound part of you that is defining you, that even if you will be in a very noisy, crowded place, okay, with a lot of people, and someone will shout your name from the other side of the crowd, you will listen to it, you will see it, you will listen, suddenly someone called me, because your name is defining you. And the first thing that the Egyptians tried to do to the Hebrew nation is to move their names. And if you will look in the beginning, in chapter 2 in the Exodus, you will see that we don't have any names. Now, it's not that we don't know them. I will share the screen for a moment and we will see that. Just a moment. Let me share the full screen. I didn't organize it yet, okay? But I'm jumping. Not here. This one. It is. I'm going here to Exodus chapter 2. Okay. It is. You will see that all the names vanished. Okay. Please read. Please read the first 5 verses of chapter 2. Done.
Okay. Exodus chapter 2, verse 1. A man of the house of Levi went and married a daughter of Levi. The woman conceived and bore a son, and when she saw him that he was good, she hid him for 3 months. 3. When she could no longer hide him, she took for him a reed basket, smeared it with clay and pitch, placed the child into it, and put it into the marsh at the Nile's edge. His sister stood from afar to know what would be done to him. Pharaoh's daughter went down to bathe to the Nile, and her maidens were walking along the Nile, and she saw the basket in the midst of the marsh, and she sent her maidservant, and she took it.
Do we know the names of the people there? Who is the father of Moses? Who is the mother of Moses? Who is the sister of Moses? Moses himself, okay. The daughter of Pharaoh. We have no names here. You see that? Now, in chapter 7, in chapter 6, we will know all the names. But this is already the beginning of the redemption, that we're going out from Egypt. I want to remind us all that also in Germany, 80 years ago, one of the first things that they did when they put people inside Auschwitz or the other places, it was to put a number, to put a tattoo of a number on the people. People lost their identity. So when the Christian world started to call this book, Exodus, that it's an event that happened, who is causing this event, what happened in this event, this is where the Hebrew nation moved the name from calling this a secondary book and started to call these names. The name of this book in Hebrew is names, because we're moving from no identity to have an identity, to have something that is explaining who we are. In the Hebrew nation, the word name in Hebrew is also the word purpose. What is my purpose? What is my purpose in life? Okay, and this is basically what we're saying. Now, why this book was called secondary? Because the first book of Genesis, that is explaining or describing the newborn of the Hebrew nation, it's only the beginning, the first part. The second part is here in the book of Exodus, where the Hebrew people are going out from the boundaries, going out from Egypt. And the second part of this book, they are receiving from God, the Ten Commandments, the Torah, and after they're receiving the Torah, they're also building a place, a Temple Mount, that they can, I will say, show the presence of God, of the presence of the divine inside the Hebrew nation, through learning and doing and acting in the way, in the path that the Torah is guiding us, not the Torah, that God is guiding us. In a moment, we'll go inside a bit to this, okay? And this is when also we see the presence of the divine, of God, okay, inside us. And this is, after that, the next step, we will go inside to the Hebrew nation, to the Hebrew land, and we will be there for more than 11 decades, more than 1,000 years, almost 1,200 years. And after that, we will go to the exile, whatever it is, and we'll continue, we'll come back only now, after the big, long exile that we had. So this is why we call this book, we're not calling this book Exodus, we're calling this book names. Okay, so this is the first thing. Second point that I must mention is that this book, this book of Exodus is containing two parts. The first part is going out from Egypt. The second part that we started yesterday to read, you know that every Shabbat we're reading part of the Parsha, of the Torah, and every year we're finishing the full Torah. Now we started the second part, and the second part is all the details of building up the tabernacle, to build up the Temple Mount, but it's a Temple Mount that is not stable in Jerusalem. It's in a place that we can still move it from one place to another place. And we have the full half, I'll say. The half of this book is explaining all of this, also with the situation of the golden craft, okay, the big crisis of the golden craft. But it's there are two parts of this thing, and this is something that we need to realize, we need to know. So first of all, I will say something in principle that we learned it when we've learned the Kuzari more than once. And I will give I will say an example. When we are buying the washing machine, so one of the things that we're also getting a notebook, right? Notebook, exactly how to use this washing machine, right? We must get the notebook. We don't really know how to use the washing machine. So today it's much easier. We're already old. We had a washing machine before that, so we're using the same thing. Not always it's the same thing. Depends also who exactly organized it, or from what I will say. Is it from Europe? If it's from the United States, depends few of those things. But basically, we need the instructions from the one that manufactured, that organized this washing machine. The same thing will be with the car. The same thing will be with everything that we're using. Soon we're going to buy robots, that will have the AI inside them, and they will be like human being. Don't forget, it's only a language issue, LLS, LLM, never mind all the names. But we will be very confused, and we will think that it's a lovely, toy that is waking up every morning with us and doing a lot of things. But we need the instructions from the one who created this thing, how to use it, right? This though it's working. Because if not, we will use it in the wrong way. We won't be able to use it in the best performance of this machine that we bought, right? Exactly. Now, what are the instruction manual of the human being? What are the instructions in the manual? I will tell you something that I don't know if you ever thought about. I never saw a cat, okay, that is doing, taking out things that is left over from his body, okay. Usually when the cat is doing it, it's also covering what he took out from his body. I never saw a dog doing something like that. The dogs are taking, standing somewhere and doing, taking out all the the things that they're not using in the body, and then that's it. They're going away. We as human beings, we are collecting this back to putting it to the trash. But the dogs, the cats, the animals, they don't need any explanation what or how to behave. They don't need any explanation. Usually a few hours after they're getting birth from the mother's womb, they're already standing on their feet. It takes them 2, 3, 4, 5 months, depends on the animal, to be grown up. At the beginning, let's say for the bears, for example, let's go to Canada. The bears in the first few months are explaining to the youngest, kids, exactly the youngest bears, how to hunt, the fish, whatever it is. And after that, that's it. They don't have any relation anymore, and they know exactly how to behave and what to do, what is expected from them, how to fear from other animals that are stronger than them. They know exactly how to behave. Everything is clear. In our language of today, we will say they have a chip inside their heads, and they know exactly what to do. The only, I will say, the only part in this world who doesn't really know what to do and needs much longer time to stand on his feet and to be to have the possibility of earning money to feed himself and also to feed his family is a human being. And look in this world and you will see a lot of ideas, and especially a long history, what exactly is the way the human being is supposed to live. We can go to Africa, a few places, and I don't want anyone to be insulted here, okay? But it's working like that, okay? You can go to Africa, and there are places that it's very clear, okay, that you're not allowed to kill others that is from your tribe. But if he is from another tribe, not only that you're supposed to kill him, but you also need to eat him. We know those things, right? So today it's much more or less, but for a very long time in history, this is how people were living in Africa. And it was really normal. More than that, the chief of the tribe, he got the special part of the body, the brain of the person they ate, okay? And if one of the kids took this brain, he himself, this kid, became, after that, the next soup of the tribe, okay? Because he ate from the thing that's supposed to be for the master of this tribe. It was very clear that this is how life is working for those people, okay? You went to other places, there were other things. If we will go to the Crusades era with Richard Hart Lion, Richard Hart Lion, and all of the fights and the wars that he had with the Arabic people. What's his name? The other one, I forgot his name. It was very clear that this is okay to have those fights, to have those crusades, to do this thing. Today, we're doing the same thing in a different way. Think about this for a moment, you will see that I'm right. Okay? We're not doing it with tanks, we're doing it by moving a lot of forces towards Iran. Iran is saying that they want to kill a lot of people of the world, America, and also, of course, Israel. So there is some sort of a crusades, but in a different way. But we're saying to ourselves, it's normal. No. So yesterday, what's his name? One of the people of Trump, Witkoff, I think he said that he's a bit frustrated. So he doesn't want to use this word, yes, but he's a bit annoyed. He doesn't understand why, even though Trump moved so many forces towards Iran, Iran is not, saying to themselves, okay, we don't want to fight, we will accept everything that you're saying to us. So we're doing those things, basically. We have a war today. I think it's a world war today in a different way, not like 100 years ago or 80 years ago, but we still have some sort of a war today between few big, I will say, nations. You could go the United States, Russia with Ukraine. You have also China. You have also Iran. It's big. It's big countries, big countries, millions of people, and we have fights. And what exactly is the structure of the human being? How to behave? Have you ever thought about this? Look what's happening in this world. The Iranian people are sure that they're doing the right thing, and they're not going to give up. They're going to fight. I want to remind us all that they had a very big war between Iran and Iraq. More than 1 million people died in those 10 years. More than 1 million people. At the end, the Iranian people sent kids, 8, 9, 11, 12 years old, with keys to heaven, to the battlefield, that they will get killed. I think it's insane. They don't. It's a big fight between, you need to understand, there's also a very big fight between the Shia and the Sunni inside the Arabic world. The most, I will say, the Shia are very, very, they are the one who are speaking about the jihad. Okay? Now, they're only 10% from the Arab world. But you know what the problem is? The Arab world is 1.5 billion people. Okay? Not million, 1.5 billion people. So what is 10% from that? 150 million people. Okay, so you have 150 million people who believe in the jihad side. Okay, go start to deal with this. It's starting to become, and they really believe that this is the way that you need to believe in God. And those who don't believe in God, and we all know this with ISIS, okay, they're going to take their heads off, going to burn them, going to kill them, going to slaughter them, all those things. We saw that. We saw what ISIS did. I don't know if you know, but 2 days ago, ISIS also sent a very big warning to the United States that if they will dare do something to their friends in Iran, they will burn out all the Middle East. Like the Middle East is already, everything is fine there. And I'm asking again, do we know what is the manual, I will say, structure, how to behave as human being? Who can tell us? Big question.
I find it's a spiritual war, no matter how you see it. Everyone has a soul. If we all know we have a soul, how do you work with that? So it's all, everything is a spiritual thing. When we come together, like once we know the 7 principles to live by, the 7 laws of Noah to live by, everyone needs to practice what you know. Like if you have the knowledge, it's like, and if you don't practice it, it's like a car without gas.
Angelica, you're more than right. Sorry, you're more than right. I'm not saying that you're not right. But think about this for a moment. We have 150 million Arabs in this world that are connected to the Shia side, okay? And in their mindset, I will say it like that, the manual factor of their mindset, how to work in this world, is that all of this world is supposed to become also Shia, to believe in God in this way. And those who don't want to do that, they are willing to kill themselves and to kill all of the rest of the world. This is how they're working. This is the system of how they believe in this world. This is the war that we are now. We are now in a war which we're calling this good and bad, okay? With all of the respect to how they explain the Quran and all of what they're explaining, also most of the Arab world don't explain like them the Quran and that to behave like that. And we know that it's a destruction way what they're doing. And this is why we're fighting them. We have no choice because they want to kill us, okay? And we, in the Hebrew tradition, we have a say, if someone wants to kill you, you need to kill him, okay? And this is something that we're doing, especially after the 7/11, where suddenly so many Arabs started to come on us. And I have a question, and it's a true question. What I want to say, and this is something amazing that I don't know if you ever thought about, the Hebrew nation is the first one that claimed, that said that the one who created the world and created the human being spoke with us and gave us the manual how to behave in a way that could bring peace to the world, not only to us. Okay? And after we said it, so a few years after that, the Christians said that also they have someone that God spoke with, and they started to do a very big issue in this world. And a few hundred years after that, also the Arabs said, we have someone that God spoke with. By the way, they're not saying that God spoke with Muhammad. They're saying that he had an angel that spoke with him. Okay, the angel name is Gabriel, and he spoke with him, not that God spoke with him. On behalf of God, okay, this angel spoke with him. And but we need to understand, this is something that came, it was so unique. Let me show you for a moment. It was so unique, and this is what I want to say is that 2 points I want to say. I will say the principle, and we will see this also in the verses, okay? The principle is very simple. I won't be able to get close to the divine that is outside of this world, that created this world, if I'm trying to do it by my own. I must get the instructions from him. Very simple, okay? And if I will continue one more step, the idea of discussing or speaking with the divine that created this world is insane. Now today, the world is saying, no, he spoke with us. No, he spoke with us. He spoke with the Jews, but he left them aside and then he spoke with us, all those things. But before the Jews came here and said those words, everybody never thought that it's something that you can do. It wasn't in the mind, it was outside the boundaries of our thoughts. It's like, think for a moment, before there was submarine in this world, okay, before Jules Verne invented in his head, this story of 20,000 mil under the water. Nobody thought that it could be that a man will be under the water. Nobody thought about this, It's different also even from speaking about the airplanes, okay? With the Wright brothers that managed to do that, for 1 minute and 15 seconds, something like that, 100 years ago. And today we have airplanes everywhere, okay? Because airplanes, we already know from from the beginning of the world, okay? We have the story about the Caros and Daedalus, the two that were flying up very high. Always man wanted to himself to fly because he saw the birds. He said to himself, but under the water, nobody thought that it was insane to think about. It was outside all the boundaries of thinking. Only after Jules Verne said or wrote a book about it, so there were a few people who said, okay, maybe there is a way to do that. And they started to do all sorts of ideas, how to bring the submarine. And today we have the submarine. You can think for a moment for yourself, but you need to know, I assume that you all know, there are a lot of submarines here in this area today, in the Middle East, okay? And also next to Iran. Also, Iran have submarines, by the way. Not only the American people, Israel, I don't know who else. Few have submarines. But it's something about. But to think about submarine, it's one thing. It's still in this world. To think that you can speak with the one who created this world, it's insane. Think about this for a moment. I never saw the one who created the washing machine speaks with the washing machine. Today we are doing an illusion, We're doing an illusion because we speak with the AI and we think that the AI is answering us. The AI is not answering us. The AI is a language model. You know that? I can explain. It will take us, 7 or 8 minutes to explain how it's working. Never mind that. The AI it's an amazing, I will say, invention, okay, that we created. It's helping us a lot, but it's not really. It doesn't really have anything. It's working according to the, I will say, to the script that was put inside through the people that decided how to put it. It's working in the frame of the AI, of the language model. So we have an illusion that it speaks with us. It's nice. It is. It's giving good. I'm not saying not to use it. Use it. It's giving good ideas. It's cutting a lot of time. Everything is fine. But let's be honest. The AI doesn't have really imagination. It can give us ideas. You know what the AI doesn't have? The AI doesn't have the responsibility that we have. AI can give you ideas, can put, I will say, what is preference, what is the pros and cons for each side, but at the end, we need to decide. And what we will decide, we take responsibility. If it will go good, if it will fail. The AI can't take responsibility. It's not for him. So to think to speak with the one who created us, it's insane. Let me show you this I will show you this in the Bible. Okay. Just a moment. I think we said it more than once, but I will show this again. And then I will say a few words about the Temple Mount. Okay, that it's also very important, and it will be clear. I think it's here. Don't bother me now. So first of all, you can read. We're speaking about. Read verses 2, 3, and 4, please. I know 2, 3, and 4, and 5. Also 5.
Okay. The Lord our God made a covenant with us in Horeb. Not with our forefathers did the Lord make this covenant, but with us, we all of whom are here alive today. Face to face the Lord spoke with you at the mountain out of the midst of the fire, and I stood between the Lord and you at that time to tell you the word of the Lord, for you were afraid of the fire, and you did not go up on the mountain, saying...
This is, basically, we're speaking about the Ten Commandments, right? Okay, so let's go one chapter before that, and I will show you the words that Moses is using, okay? In verses 32, 33, 44, right? It is, please.
Okay, 32.
32.
We're in Deuteronomy 4. For ask now regarding the early days that were before you, since the day that God created man upon the earth, and from one end of the heavens to the other end of the heavens, whether there was anything like this great thing, or was the likes of it heard? Did ever a people hear God's voice speaking out of the midst of the fire, as you have heard, and live? Or has any God performed miracles to come and take him a nation from the midst of another nation, with trials, with signs, and with wonders, and with war, and with a strong hand, and with an outstretched arm, and with great awesome deeds, as all that the Lord your God did for you in Egypt before your eyes?
So we have it in 32. It's very simple. Nobody ever thought to say that God, who created this world, spoke with the human being. Nobody said it. Nobody said it in loud and clear. And here for us, for the Hebrew nation, it was for the whole nation, not only for Jesus and a few of his students, or with the Muhammad and few of his students. It was in front of all of the nation. I will give an example that it will be clear, okay? It's so weird if, for example, okay, Dan, in your neighborhood, or everybody can say it about himself, in your neighborhood, you know a kid that grew up there and he knows English, or this is what you're speaking in your neighborhood, and one day he's coming when he's 5 years old and he's starting to speak few sentences in Chinese. And you're asking, from where do you know Chinese? So if he will say to you, I invented it from my mind, he will say to you, no, it can't be, 5 years old. Most probably you met tourist people from China, okay? This is basically what the Hebrew nation said suddenly. So one day, the Hebrew nation appeared in front of the world and said, no, we spoke with the one who created this world. We have no way, I'm saying this is the main issue that it's supposed to be clear. We have no way of building up a tabernacle, or building up the place, or the home of the presence of God in this world, if we are not receiving from Him the exact scripture how to do it. And He gave this to us, and He also, and this is the second part of Exodus, okay? And He also gave us the script of the human being in the right way, how to live together. And the Hebrew nation is the only nation, is the only old nation. When I was in Africa, and I gave there a seminar for Noahide, okay? A very, very important person that was a very high rank bishop, did some sort of, repentance, and he became a Noahide. He left all Christianity, and he gathered around him a lot of Noahide people, and then he asked Rabbi Sherki, the Noahide World Center, to come and to give him a seminar there. And we went. I gave the seminar, whatever it is. It's very nice. And one of the things that when he summarized things that we've learned, he said, look, this is the only old script, okay, of the Hebrew nation that is not starting from the Hebrew nation. For the first 11 chapters, we're not speaking about the Hebrew nation. It speaks about the world. Adam, Eve, Noah, Enoch. You can speak about a lot of names that you have before that. And until today, the Hebrew nation is not demanding that everybody will become Jewish. We're asking people to stay Noahide, okay? And this is more important for you to be a Noahide and to behave as a Noahide and to bring the light to your nations, and not like not to become a Jewish person. Just like me as a Jewish, I have a son-in-law that is a Kohen, a priest, and I'm not trying to become a priest. I'm not a priest, okay? I'm not a Kohen, okay? He is. I have a cousin, one of the side of my cousins, they're all Levitaks, and they have different, responsibilities. I'm not a Levitak, I'm not a priest. I have 2 grandsons that are really priests. Yay! I have, like that. When the Temple Mount will be built up, I have there a bit of I have people from my family that will assist me. You can be my friends, and I will help you there also. But I'm not a priest. I'm not a Levitax. I'm a simple Jew. I will call it like that. Okay. And they're also the Noahide. We're not asking that everybody will come Christian, that everybody will come. And this is the instructions that we got from the one who created us. And he gave us the instructions how to get close to him, how to build up this Temple Mount, how to build up this tabernacle, and the time that we are going, all over the desert time, okay? And we need to know that. Now, the most important thing that is coming inside this tabernacle, inside this place, is I think that once there was one of the movies of Indiana Jones. You know that Indiana Jones is a movie about Wendell Jones. You know what Wendell Jones is? He was he was in the early 70s of the last century. He was one of the main people that were leading the Noahide
Noahide
groups.
archaeologist, yeah.
And on his characterism, they did this what we call Indiana Jones. I think the second movie is speaking about, I will say, the race. Who is going to be the first one to catch the ark of the tabernacle? Okay, remember that? Remember this movie? Okay. Maybe the first one, first, second. I know that there's a movie about it. And the German wanted it, the Jews wanted it. Of course, then nobody got it, but Indiana Jones managed to catch it, with all of the effects that they did there with the Harrison Ford. Very nice. I think I told you, okay, that the eldest grandson of Wendell Jones, okay, was my student. We still have good connections. So he's almost 40 years old, the eldest grandson. But again, so I'm going back. Okay, the most important part is this thing, and when King Solomon is building up the Temple Mount, the ultimate, not temporary, but the Temple Mount in Jerusalem. So the most important thing is to bring our inside to the holiest place to put this ark. Okay, and what is inside this ark? The 10 Commandments, the stones of the 10 Commandments, but don't forget we have two stones. One is full one. The first one was broken. Moses broke it, the first one. Remember that? He went down from the Mount Sinai, and he saw the Hebrew nation that they did, that they were celebrating with the golden calf, and he threw those 10 Commandments that God gave him, the stones, and he also put inside this ark the broken one and the real one. And what is the meaning of this? The meaning of this is that you have, we can see a few things that will be nice to all of you to realize what's happening. Those are the symbols of things, okay? But mainly it's that the hardcore of the presence of God in this world is through this, I will say, the 10 Commandments and the Torah. There is a story, okay, that our sages are saying. It's like a king that had only one daughter. That's it. Now, after a few years, she grew up and everything else, and it was very important for this king that she will get married. So what we call I forgot the name. The king from another, the kingdom next to him, brought his son, okay, and they wanted to get married, and then the son wanted to go back to his kingdom. So his father said to him, "Look, I have no choice. You need to take her, okay, but please organize for me a room that I will be able to be with you all the time, because it's my only daughter. I want to be next to her." Okay, so and the same thing when God gave us the Torah, his main daughter, I will call it like that, his idea. He said to us, "But please give me a room so I will be able to be next to you." And this is the tabernacle, and this is also after that the Temple Mount. And we can see. I will show you another one, very important thing that you will see inside. Okay, two points that I will show you. Let's see. Let me jump again to Exodus. Again, we're speaking about the second part of the Exodus. I think it's here. Yeah, you see? Second part. How many? Yeah. Fair enough. Okay. And here in the second part, the first thing after God is saying to us, that we need to give an offering. By the way, the word offering in Hebrew, done for a moment, I will say another more thing. The offering in Hebrew is raising up. The idea of giving offering, getting connected with the, I will say, with the Temple Mount, with the right side of the world, I will say it like that, is basically saying to yourself, when you're receiving, I will say, the salary, okay, X amount of money, if I know to give a part of it to the Temple Mount, basically what is happening is that I'm looking at it in a different way. It's raising up everything that I have to the level of the Temple Mount, but God gave me something that I can still stay alive, okay? To work for another month and then to give more. This is something that is raising up. This is a word in Hebrew, okay? But the first thing is to build up the ark, okay? They should make up the ark. You can read for a moment verses 10 and 11, please.
They shall make an ark of acacia wood, 2.5 cubits its length, 1.5 cubits its width, and 1.5 cubits its height. And you shall overlay it with pure gold. From inside and from outside you shall overlay it. And you shall make upon it a golden crown all around.
So basically, it's very interesting. How is the ark is being built up? The ark itself is from wood. Wood is something that is have a growth, and it's also stable, right? What is a tree? The tree is growing up. You can plant a tree, and after 3, 4, 5 years, you're getting, suddenly the trees are getting bigger, stronger. You can organize, all sorts of things on this tree. So the wood is something that on one side is growing up, and the other side is very stable. But it's very also important to have, I will say, some sort of the golden side, okay, that is the shiny side, that is showing something, glory outside, from the outside and from the inside. You need to be, not to be hypocrite, okay? The inside and the outside is supposed to be the same. And this is how you're holding, I will say it like that, the truth of this Torah, or the ideas here. If you also inside and outside are in line together, that the things that you grasping inside, you're also showing in the outside, and you're not in a way that, what we call hypocrite, okay, that the outside of your behavior is not like the inside, and vice versa. Another thing that's happening here, okay, is that you have here, please read for a moment, verses 14 and 15.
14. And you shall bring the poles into the rings on the sides of the ark to carry the ark with them. The poles of the ark shall be in the rings, they shall not be removed from it.
Now, except for here, that you have those things that you can, I will explain this for a moment, okay? The tabernacle in the desert, we moved. We were not in one place. So we were supposed to move. There is a system. It's being mentioned in Numbers, okay? There is a system how to move exactly, how to rebuild the tabernacle, who is taking what, and how we're moving it from one place to another. The ark was being holded with, with the shoulders. The Levites were moving it, or the priest, depends, were moving it from one place to another place on their shoulders. So it was like there was those two main, I will say, poles, and then you had 4 people that were holding it. Now this is there are a few things like that. For example, the table also, the light also. There are a few things that they were taking on their shoulders, but this was the only one that you are not allowed to move the poles from the ark. And the idea of that is that you need to carry on your shoulders all the time the message of the Torah. You can't say to yourself, okay, today I'm not going through the mindset of the Torah. You can't say this to yourself. It's always there. You always need to carry it on your shoulders. And if you think about this for a moment, I will give an example, with your permission, a good example, okay? I will go to Angelica, I will say, neighborhoods, and people knows Angelica. I'm giving her as an example. I'm sure that with everybody, each one of you is like that, okay? With Angelica, just I know a bit more that it's happening. And people there in the neighborhoods, they trust Angelica. They trust her in a way that they feeling comfortable to give her the keys of their home when they're going away, to speak with her when they're feeling, lonely. They know all the time that she's carrying there something very shiny outside. Angelica is not shy. She's saying to them, I'm a Noahide. Okay? But it's working like that. She's all the time carrying it. All the time, people, when they're looking at Angelica, they're saying, okay. I can give you another example. I will say generally, I won't say it specifically about someone, but the one that I'm going to speak about, you will understand that I'm speaking about him. Okay? You can have a very profound crisis inside your family with all sorts of things. Something that is related already for 20, 30, 40 years ago, when people betrayed one each other, okay? Parents betrayed, did a lot of horrible things. And today things are very complicated inside the families. But there's someone there, one person there, that is like a stone, a rock, that everybody is feeling that they can rely on and feel comfortable because something there is inside very shining. And he's saying to them, I'm not a Christian, I'm a Noahide. He's not saying this all the time. It's enough to say it once. But they're feeling comfortable. They're feeling everything is fine. We have here someone that is calming down everything. Everything is not... The carrying of this Torah is never finishing. And this is why you're not allowed to take out the pillars from the ark. You're all the time supposed to remember that you need to carry it. Think about this for a moment. For 410 years that the Temple Mount was in Jerusalem, nobody moved the ark. It was in the same spot, in the holiest of the holiest place, and it was also with the pillars. Few years before it was destroyed, the Temple Mount, it was hidden in Jerusalem, okay? So all the stories about finding it in all sorts of places in the desert, whatever it is, it's nice for the movie, it's not true. It's inside Jerusalem. It's waiting. It's waiting for us. It's not like the menorah, okay, the lights that we can see in Rome, and we know that it's there inside the Vatican, and they're very naughty that they didn't give it back to us yet. Okay, soon it will come back. But the ark is still in Jerusalem, and there will be the time that it will go out. This symbolized of the ark is very important also for us to understand the way of working in life, of showing things outside. So we mentioned here a few things, okay? But the most important part, we came inside to those, this second part of Exodus, what we call names, okay? And also God is revealing his name, his purpose here in this world, and he is guiding us how to get close to him, how to build up the tabernacle, how to build up the Temple Mount, and how to behave in this world in a way that we will be able to live here and not to build up all sorts of missiles and all sorts of, I will say, things of killing one each other. Questions, things you want to know, whatever it is, this is your time. We have another few minutes, please.
That's just like the prophet Isaiah said, they'll beat their swords into plowshares and spears into pruning hooks and learn war no more. right, Rabbi, from Isaiah?
It will come soon. It will come. We need, first of all, to change the mindset of the Shia in this world. I hope that we'll manage to change the mindset. If not, we will have a war against them.
Delusion affects people in such unique ways. People can deceive themselves and believe the strangest of things out there, and yet Torah stands firm. So it's beautiful. Anybody else have any questions or comments for the rabbi?
Not everybody together. Everything is fine. Jacob, we want to see your kids.
Hey, I'm here, Rabbi. I got my daughter here. She's eating dinner. So, hey, I have a question. So,
Yes,
I guess the raw materials like the gold and stuff was given by Egyptians to help the Jews make Aliyah. Is that right?
I will say even more than that, okay? Go with me. The Egyptians gave the Hebrew nation a lot of things before we went out from Egypt. And on the shore, on the sea, okay, after they drowned in the sea, they went out to the shore. And also they had a lot of golden and all the metals there, also they had. Now, let's look on the Hebrew nation in history in those 2 years of the beginning of the 40 years they were in the desert, like some sort of separation, okay? Part of it went to the golden crafts, and it was a sin. And the most of it went to build up the tabernacle, right? And it was as God obeyed them to do. So basically, when they went out from Egypt, they took with them something from Egypt that became the Temple Mount, the tabernacle. Think about this. And always the Hebrew nation taking ideas, I will say like that, from the world and raising them up, the right ideas in the right way, to become part of the history. I will give another example, what we took from Egypt. Okay? In the old days, in the Egyptian side, also after that, until the Romans, they were putting all sorts of things on the heads to show that they have, I will say, freedom. We all know in the old Romans, they had the leaves, right, on the heads to show, when someone won the Olympics, the Olympics races, whatever it is, or other things. The Pharaoh side, we know from the painting on the pyramids, they had a snake on the heads. Remember that? You know that? When the Hebrew nation went out from Egypt, we don't have any snakes. There is a verse that says that we don't have any snakes. We're not worshipping snakes. But we have on the heads what we call the tefillin. Remember that? You know that? This black box that we have on the heads. Okay? So we're also saying since we went out from Egypt, we have some sort of, we'll say, of a sign that we're putting every day until today, in the last almost 4,000 years. And basically it says that we have the possibility, the human being have the possibility of going out from slavery, from the boundaries of Egypt. Now, for almost 4,000 years, every black person in this world was a slave. Only in the last 60s, suddenly, after the Hebrew nation did the last redemption and came back to the homeland, and it's related, and go after the 60s to the beginning of the 90s, or almost the end of the century, also in South Africa, there was a very big redemption, And today, you're not saying about someone that because he is in a black, I will say, skin, he is supposed to be slaved. So we won. For 4,000 years, we're saying all the time, we're standing every morning. We have the possibility of going out from slavery. And it took maybe 4,000 years, but the world came to the stage, to a much better stage, that we're not we're not asking people to be slaves because of the color of the skin. But it's something that we took already from Egypt, the idea. He had a snake on his head. What is the difference between the snake and the boxes that we have? Okay, there are two differences. First of all, we are putting it from only kosher meat. Okay, it's only after we slaughtered only kosher animals we can put. The snake is not kosher. And the second thing is that we have a very straight thing. Okay, it's a boxes. The snake is, first of all, he is around, but also not only that he is around, it's also his body is a round body, right? What is the meaning of something round? The cycle of nature. In the cycle of nature, you have no way, if you were born with black skin, you're supposed to be a slave. You have no way out to go out from it. We said for more than 4,000 years, no. There's a way to have a straight thing on your head, okay? That you can, I will say, draw the line and to say that you can go out from the cycle of nature. It took 4,000 years, but we managed. So there are things that we took out from Egypt. There are things that we took out from Babylon. And there are things that we're taking out also now today from the long exile that we were, okay? I won't go inside too much today. I don't want to, not now, not this time. But you need to understand that we are all the time, I will say, speaking with history and speaking with the world around us. It's not one-way tickets. It's not that we have only what to say to the world and that's it. No, we also learning from the world, adjusting it, and taking it out in a way that is aligned with the Torah. I will say just that it will be, just a moment, I will say just it will be clear, for example, the timing, okay, that psychologists came to the world 200 years ago. Also, in the Hebrew tradition, what we call the Hasidut came to the world, that it's some sort of a psychology in a different way. It's not in a different way, in a different, I will say, angle that is very related with the Torah. So we all the time have some sort of, I will say, we are resonating what's happening in the world, the Hebrew nation. It's not that we are in the same world, okay? It's not that the Hebrew nation is from Mars and the rest of the world is from Plato, okay? We are all together in this world, and we are all the time also resonating with the world. So you're more than right. We took out a lot of metals and a lot of gold from Egypt. Part of it partially went to the wrong side, to the golden craft, but the most of it became from Egypt, the Temple Mount. Think about this. Suddenly the relation is much more profound between us. Okay, Jacob. Jacob is with his daughter. So
Yes, thank you. Yes, I'm here. Thank you, Rabbi. Great answer. Thank you.
I have a comment.
yes, please, go ahead.
Go to about out of this, the African slavery for 4,000 years. That's not exactly how it was. Did a bit of history in school. What happened was that we had independent kingdoms and empires in Africa for so many years. But I think around the 17th, 18th century, hundreds, the Western world, America, British, came to colonize African empires because they had firepower, and they used that superior power to conquer the kingdoms and the empires in Africa. And when they had the plantations in America. They wanted cheap labor. And those explorers came to Africa found that they have heavily built muscular men in Africa. And because they had the Western firepower, they could conquer and enslave those Africans in those nations. So that's how the slave trade started. And we're shipping those Africans to America to work in the plantations. So that's just what I want to just add up.
I agree with you that there was also, I will say, you're more than right, okay? You describe it right. But the truth is that it's also before that, always there were, always the white man, usually the white man, was treating the black man as he is supposed to be my slave. Now, it's true that in the colonized side in the 17th century, especially when it's a few, it started also with the French people, and then it continued also with the England people. And I agree with you, in the 17th century, it even increased. But before that also, we have a lot of stories and a lot of, in the Hebrew tradition, we have a lot of writing in the last 2,000 years, okay? That always the treatment of I will say, the white people in Europe and also in the United States was, in the United States in the last 450 years, okay, was always to treat the black person like, he is a slave because he's with the black skin. And it's amazing to think about this for a moment. Why? No reason, no real reason for that. We're all human beings. Okay, we can discuss it. It's a different issue. I just wanted to show this as a principle, and also to speak about the resonation between the Hebrew nation and the rest of the world. We are not outside of this world. We are part of this world. And every time that we're going out from somewhere, we're also taking values and ideas and bringing them also to the Hebrew nation and taking them out in some sort of a filter in the right way. Fair enough.
Thank you.
That's all growth. Yeah. So grow as you're able, but you can't leave the manual behind. Yeah, the manual is key for sure. Excellent stuff, Rabbi, for sure. Well, I want to thank Stephen for joining us today. Hopefully, we'll see you again, Stephen. This link is the same link for all Google Meets with Rabbi Goldberg, same time, usually every Sunday. But you're not on for next week, Rabbi?
No, for sure. Hopefully, we will be on next week. In the morning of next week, I think we have a very interesting session with Rabbi Schulman. It will take a few days to upload it to everywhere. Stephen and Collins, I'm calling you to start to work hard that there will be more Noahide in England. Okay? And I'm here to help. We are here to assist. This is why we're here in Jerusalem, to assist all the groups and everything else. We're intending of doing a big congress, okay, in the first week of
November.
I think that next week we will have also a very clear, I will say, explanation with everything. But mainly, I can tell you today that what we're organizing is also a bit of hikes inside Israel, and also a few good sessions of the building up this Noahide movement. We have today people from all over the world with a lot of languages, but this congress will be with the English language. We'll give all the details soon. I hope to see also people from England there with us.
Yeah, I'm starting to get people ask me for more details, and so yeah.
We will organize. It's being writing now. Writing everything.
Excellent. Rabbi, we appreciate you, and we're praying for all Israel, especially with the tensions in Iran, and always a joy.
It's a good days for Iran. You can't even understand that. Those are the days
liberation.
Of
yeah,
we did it once. We'll do this again.
It sounds like the Esther story.
Exactly.
Excellent.
Correct.
Excellent.
Amen.
All right, so on that note, we're going to sign out for today. We're aiming to be back next week, which might be a special session. So keep your eye out there for our ads for same time next week. Till then, have a wonderful, wonderful week, everybody. Bye for now.
Bye, everybody. Bye. Good to see you all. Thank you. Have a great week. Bye.